And in
Mm,
terms of, I guess the statement that we have here,
mm,
people through their work should achieve a state of flourishing.
hmm
Is that again, is that a 50-50 relationship where it's
mm,
on the employer just as much as the employee,
mm.
or do you feel it's more heavily weighted for one than the other to achieve that?
I'd say the load and the balance shifts. So I think the employer has a lot to do with making the declaration and then bringing in the processes and the kind of trust level that then employees can go, hey, they're serious about this. They do want us to make decisions. They won't come down on us like a ton of bricks if we, overly compensate one customer in their judgment and so on. So they have to kind of see and feel that. So I think the employer starts. So maybe it kind of starts with the employer doing kind of 80-20. And then I think it starts to shift and it does become more 50-50 because as the trust is built, as the safe operation by employees comes in, I think the employer can kind of scale down some of the guidance and just go, look, we got your back, but you fill in some blanks for us, right? So I think it shifts to 50-50 down the middle of the line. Then when you mature and evolve really strongly, I think it actually shifts the other way. 80% of that is then on the employee to go,
Mm.
you trust me, you liberate me. I'm not going to abuse that. I get it. I'm going to actually show you more now as a result of doing that. And I'm going to take responsibility for my talent, for my connections, for my networking, for my advocacy. And then the 20% you offer me is beyond the transactional stuff, but you just kind of recognize, support, and endorse the things that are really, really working and help me if I'm in danger to kind of keep me safe, right? So I think it will never fully sort of swing one way or the other. So I think it starts with the employer, it then balances out in the middle of the equation while you're working it through. Then I think it shifts to the employee. And that's where you then get employees who go, I don't just have a job here, I'm part of something. There's something
Mm-hmm.
really important about what I do, even if it seems like the most trivial, repetitive task. I totally get it because I see the system I'm in. I know that perhaps if I want to change my career, that a lot of that is down to me. And I think that's a really nice adult way, I think, for people to kind of take control, but have choice, and not have the employer feel like they're just a hostage to demanding employees. I think that's how we do it. I think if you go too far the other way and just go do whatever you want employees without that maturity, that's when we get the privilege and the entitlement and that whole sense of no, I can demand what I want. It's like, that's not fair. The employer is hosting you and looking after you. Play well into that. So I think 80-20, 50-50, 20-80.
I couldn't agree more. I've been asking that question a lot, and you're one of the first to put numbers to it, and I feel
Oh,
they're
cool.
they're a really accurate representation of what I would
Thank
agree
you, man.
to, and further speaks to what I feel are those three pillars that I feel are really important. I mean, as a employer, having a really clearly defined vision and mission, having a really
Yeah.
great culture, having your core values, and using those
Mm-hmm.
core values as guides to help you make decisions within the organization and how you externally represent yourself, then
Yeah.
ties into that pillar two of your recruitment strategy of how you go into market, and then
Mm.
further to what you do and helping on that, that what it looks like
Yeah.
when an employee first come in. I couldn't agree more
Mm.
that it is
Mm.
our job as employers to ensure that we have a really clear understanding of what we want. And as a new employee comes in, it's our job to build the framework of what flourishing
Mm.
looks like in our
Mm.
organization, what we're looking for,
Yeah.
what a culture fit or culture add looks like, and
Mm.
what like success will ultimately look like. And
Mm.
then through the onboarding, training, and development, as that new person comes in, a 50-50
Yeah.
balance of we need to be equally invested in here. And it's not just I give you
Completely.
everything and you take it.
Yeah.
It's we need to be collectively joined
Mm.
on this. And then I couldn't agree more that
Mm.
there is a part where it needs to shift. And as an employee, that focus then becomes more on you, where
Yeah.
I think as an organization, and I love the fact that there was still that 20% that you still need to be a coach, a mentor, a guide,
Yeah.
a performance manager,
Yeah.
hold your team and people
Mm.
accountable. But
Mm.
ultimately we want people on the team that have that sense of purpose, that feel that they are a part of something bigger than just a
Yeah.
job, and that they are in constant seek of that personal professional development for
Yeah.
themselves, and that they are in seek of that state of flourishing.
Mm.
And it's not just
Mm.
the employer's job to give it to them, but it's our job to create an environment where that is achievable.